afternoon, all the distinguished delegates to this 9th Security Skills and Leadership Summit. My respects to all the dignitaries on the dais. It's indeed a privilege for me as the Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Home Affairs to be in your midst today. Today is in fact exactly the completion of 2 months for me in this assignment. So I'm extremely happy to be here to listen to your deliberations, to understand the issues that the private security industry is facing. I will just make a few brief remarks. The first is about the PASARA Act, the Private Security Agencies Regulation Act. The Act, as enacted in 2005, is the law that applies to all of you, to me, to all of us. And one of the key elements of that is the controlling authority that each state government appoints. And in fact, I'm happy to inform you that just a few weeks back, we in Ministry of Home Affairs convened a meeting where we called together all the controlling authorities. So there had been a break of some time when the controlling authorities had been sort of called together for discussions, but we could have one just a few weeks back. And it was my assessment that it was a really useful meeting. The controlling authorities themselves had lots of issues to share with us, and from us in the Ministry of Home Affairs, who look at it from a all India kind of perspective, we had a lot of things to share with them. We found many states which had gone quite in detail, maybe prescribing a very large number of documentation and various things. Some states which were not really active in implementing. So it was a really useful discussion, and we in Ministry of Home Affairs intend to make this interaction of discussions with our controlling authorities a regular feature. Ultimately, since they are the authorities at the ground level, at the cutting edge level, who implement the PASARA Act, so we will make it a regular interaction so that we get their feedback and we also pass on the ideas and suggestions that we have from the central government level. So that's my first point. The Security Knowledge and Skills Development Council, since they are our host today, and that would involve the training part. Let me briefly touch upon the training part. That again, my understanding is that that's a very critical part in this private security sector, as it would also be in the regular policing sector. And we have started discussions. I have heard very positive reports about what the Skill Development Council, Security Skill Development Council have been able to do. The 1.5 lakh personnel who have been reportedly trained. I've been too recent to sort of get a deeper insight or a more specific understanding of who are these personnel, where are they, how do we know about them. But with our Honorable Chairman, Mr. Kunwar Singh Ji, I will interact with him, and we would be very keen from MHA side to understand where are these 1.5 lakh, what manner of training, and how can we scale it up. In fact, that was one of the training issues, the capacity issues on training were some of the things which took up lots of our time when we met the controlling authorities. And we would, from MHA side, be very keen to understand, because having proper training be extremely important for our private security agencies. And linked, of course, to that would be the wages issues, the minimum wages, which move a bit beyond MHA onto the Ministry of Labour. But I think that's as important from the welfare of personnel point of view, and also I think from the industry as a whole, because I have been told by some that getting jobs as private security guards would probably not be the first choice for many of the boys and girls, the persons who are there. So how can we raise the profile or the desirability of a job in this sector so that we get better and better talent, we get the best available young people onto this sector of ours. That would be linked to the training, it will be linked to the wages, it will be linked to the working conditions. How do we reduce the sheer drudgery of the work that they undertake? So we will continue looking into it. We will discuss with the Ministry of Labour. We will understand the issues. We will work closely with the Skill Development Council, understand and gain from the years of experience that the council has developed, the functionaries of the council. I was also very happy to read that National Occupational Standards, NOS, have been developed. Many times we tend to be weak in documentation, in having written clear-cut guidelines. I think it's a very good achievement that these standards have been formed. If they are too stringent, we can look at them. If they are too lax, we can look at them. But I think it's a very good achievement on the part of the council that such standards have been defined. And I think it will definitely help in strengthening the sector, improving the quality of service that the sector would provide. Since the controlling authorities are in the 29 states and also union territories spread all over the country, one major sort of lacuna that we observed was on the either the availability of information or the verification process, the cross-references which take place from one state to the other, while information would probably be available at different parts of the country with regard to the various directors, the various functionaries, the various personnel, but being in silos or being in different offices, we felt that there is a need to somehow link up this information. And now that we have the IT tools, we would really look at, in a time-bound manner, setting up some kind of a web-based portal. For instance, the directors of the various companies security companies who operate in more than one state, we understand that every time you have to apply afresh in the other state, in the fourth state, fifth state, and each state undertake the verification process more or less ab initio, and rightly so, since they do not have the past records. But that results in lots of delay. It takes lots of time. It's not easy for the police to find out afresh the details about a particular person. But since the information about the directors or the various functionaries is already available in another state, in another city, we believe that this web portal would facilitate expediting the process without diluting the verification or diluting the checking of the antecedents. It facilitates and streamlines the flow of information, or about even the security guards that you employ in line with the PASARA Act and the draft rules. Some states do allow the security agency company yourself to certify your security guards. Some of the states prescribe that it has to be, verification has to be done by the state police. Whatever is mandated is mandated. The law provides for both. But even there, we feel that once a security guard has been verified by a particular police agency and there has been no adverse record since then, or where he moves on from one agency to the other or from one jurisdiction to the other, this web portal is something which we will try and design in a way whereby on one side information is available to the relevant people, on the other hand it does not work in a way whereby it becomes available so freely that it impinges on the security of the establishments that you are supposed to guard. So looking at both the sites. In fact, Delhi, the controlling authority had started the process of designing a web portal, so we have already had discussions with them. Karnataka, in fact, the controlling authority, I think, has been invited to speak in this conference, and they have also had already started the process of developing a web portal, and we would be calling them also, and we will really see how we can set up this web-based framework in a time-bound manner, which gets utilized by the private security agencies also, which gets utilized by the controlling authorities, and also by us in MHA as the administrator of the PASARA Act, so that the relevant information, to give an example, our thinking is the controlling authority, say in Maharashtra or in Delhi, would get access based on user profile to some parts of the database. The security agency operating in a particular place would get access to some parts of it and not to all of it, so that based on defined functions and user-defined access is provided to this database system, and thereby streamline the process, remove the unnecessary delays where the letter which has gone from one state police to another state police, the letter itself takes lots of time, then the movement of the letter from one police station to the other. So we really believe that the web portal is something which, also given the expertise that has been there in our country, that we can make use of it, and we'll really work towards that. And my last point is, as some of you would be aware, the Prime Minister had launched a few months back a blog for on the government side, MyGov, MyGov, for blogging, for giving suggestions, for giving ideas. Not really for grievances, but really for positive suggestions and positive ideas that people have. So the private security sector also, we have felt, is something which, since it touches lives of so many of our countrymen, is something which can be placed on that blogging portal, so that there could be new ideas that we can get from our citizens, from our fellow countrymen. So we will do that in a short while, in a few weeks' time, and all of us from the security agency side, from the common man, the citizen, and I hope good ideas, new ideas would come, so that we nurture this sector which I have been repeatedly informed employs, whether it's 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs, 70 lakhs, all of them are impressive numbers. So I think it's something really deserves to be nurtured, and also I expect would only grow in the years to come. And we from MHA side stand ready to work together. In fact, touching upon the point of partnering with the police, when we met the controlling authorities, the word we used sort of came out as a consensus was a constructive partnership with the police. So that it's not also that the local police station sort of calls your security guards, unnecessarily all the time, but a constructive partnership from both the sides. And one question which I had posed to the controlling authorities was, are there SOPs between private security agencies of a particular jurisdiction and police authorities of a particular jurisdiction? What we mean is, in case a private security agency sees undesirable behavior in a particular locality, in a particular colony, does he know to which policeman, to which station house officer that he can confide or share expeditiously and also confidentially? Probably it's still not very well worked out across the country. There are some locations who have worked it out very nicely, whereby a particular inspector of police or a particular station house officer is linked up to a particular group of people, but in many other places it is not. So that is something that we are looking at, so that for the private security guard or the supervisor of the private security guard, there is a particular contact point whereby any relevant information can be passed on. So we definitely would look at the point about constructive partnership between the police and the private security guards, so that the community security, the point which was made in the conference document, community security improves in the days and months based on this partnership. So thank you very much, and my very best wishes to this conference.